All right, 7.4, or rather 8.4, histograms. So this one is another way to represent data, and I think of it as kind of like the dot plot, only we're going to be using bars or I don't know, big lines, things like this, where you shade it in. That's going to be how we represent our data in this one. So whenever you are given two-digit numbers like this, I will probably not give you the key, like how a stem and leaf plot. I might give you a key if the data is kind of ugly. Like in number 2, I'm giving you the number line. But if it's just plain old two-digit numbers, I don't think I'll do that. And you'll have to decide on your own. For this one, it goes from 74 to 83. So I'm just going to count by ones. So I'm going to start off with 74, and then I'll go up by 1. And you want to do one bigger than what you think you need, right? So this one, it ended, the data has 83.8, but I put 84 on there. Now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be drawing our bars, and they're going to look something like this whenever we're done, right? Oh, and I forgot to draw this piece. We have to have the other axis, and this is how often something happens. So I can have 1, 2, 3. I think we're only going to need 3 for this one. So whenever we draw our bar graph, we count how many pieces of our data is between the two numbers. So like for here, I'm going to count how many are between 74 and 75. So here's 1, 2. There are 2 pieces of data that are between 74 and 75. So I'm going to draw my, I'll do that in blue, draw my bar up to the 2. And that symbolizes that there are 2 pieces of data between 74 and 75. All right, next up, I look at my next data. I have 77.7, and the next one's 79. So I look at just the 77.7. So I have 1 piece of data between 77 and 78. Next up, I have 1, 2, 3 pieces of data between 79 and 80. So between 79 and 80, I need to make a bar that is 3 units tall. Next up, I have 80 and 80. So between 80 and 81, I have two pieces of data. And notice how my bars just, they go right up next to each other. There's no gap between them. And then I have 82. Well, 82, we consider that between 82 and 83. So I have 1 piece of data there. And then 83.8 is between 83 and 84. Just like that. So there we are. That's how we do that. So again, if they are nice, pretty numbers, and by pretty numbers, I will generally mean 2-digit numbers, you will have to draw your own line. Okay? But on number 2, the data is kind of messy. We see that we start off with 17.8, and we go up to 3,550. So that's quite the span. So I don't expect you to make the decision on how you want to graph that. I will make the decision, and I'll tell you how I want you to do that. So starting off graphing, my first interval is between 0 and 500, right? I'm looking down here, 0 to 500. And again, I forgot to draw my other axis. I'll draw it like this. I don't know how many I'll need, so I'll just label it as I go. Well, I guess I'll probably need 1, 2, and probably 3. So how many numbers are between 0 and 500? Well, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 numbers between 0 and 500. So I guess I need to go all the way up to 5 here. 3, 4, 5. So between 0 and 500, I go all the way up to the 5. And I draw on my bar. All right. Next up, Next up, I have 600. That's between 500 and 1,000. So I'll draw one bar there. And then I have 1,400 something. So that's between 1,000 and 1,500. Then I have 1,600, which is between 1,500 and 2,000. And then I jump all the way over to 3,500, which is between 3,500 and 4,000. So there's my bar graph, or my histogram, excuse me. All right, moving on. This one, hours slept, we don't have our chart already drawn for us. So we're going to need to make our number line. And we can say, well, the smallest piece of data is 5.5, so I'll start at 5. And my biggest piece of data is 8.5, so I'll go all the way up to 9. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'll draw my other axis. And I'll do 1, 2, 3. I might need a 4 in there. All right. So starting off at the beginning of my data, I have 5.5, and that's the only thing between 5 and 6. So I'm going to have one block between 5 and 6. Then I have 6, 6.25, and 6.25 again. That's 3 numbers between 6 and 7. Then I have 7.5, 7.5, 7.75, and 7.75 again. That's 4 numbers total between 7 and 8. And then I have 8.5, which is the only number between 8 and 9. I'll draw that just a little bit nicer. All right, and there we are. There's our histogram. All right, last one. This one, again, I gave us the number lines to start off with because I thought it would be a little bit helpful. So I'll draw my vertical coming out of here. I'm going to just count really quick. I'm going to look at my data and see how many I think I'll need, how tall I'll need to be. Well, I've got 28.3, that's 1. 28.5 is going to be 1, 2. I'm thinking I'll only need to go up to 2. I'll go ahead and do 3. All right, so my first interval is between 280,000 and 285,000. So I only have one number that falls in that interval. So I'll draw a short little box. And then I have 285,600, and then I go up to 290,000. So I only have one thing here for my next interval. In the 290,000s, I have this one, so that'll be just 1. 95 to 300 will be 1, 2. And then between 300,000 and 305,000, I actually don't have any because this 305,000 starts at the 305,000. So I'll have a 1 in the 305,000. 310,000, I'll have 1, 2. And then 315 to 320 will be 1, 2. There we are. So the hardest part of the histogram, I think, is making that number line and deciding what your intervals are going to be. And if the intervals are going to be too difficult or if there's going to be too much variation in our answers, I will give us the number line, right? Now we know that multiple choice questions, I won't be giving you the number line. You'll just have to decide it based off of that, based off of your options. All right.